What's voofing you voofers? Welcome to another episode of Dawn of War Free Specials on this channel, where we will be today talking about 10 things we want for Dawn of War Free's future. Make Dawn of War Free great again, and this list will contain a lot of pretty much biased stuff, but also stuff that you guys want. So it's not only my opinion. I think I'll be speaking for most of us here in this video. So you guys, if you like this stuff, just share it to Relic. Make Relic know about this, and maybe we'll get to see something like this in the future. Who knows, right? So there's just two rules in here, which are: number one, everything has to be realistically speaking. So basically, something the devs might actually do. We're not gonna say, oh, no more cover bubbles or whatever, because those mechanics are already in the game. We won't change that. They won't change that. We know they won't change that. So we want new stuff, different stuff, but it has to be sort of realistic towards what the engine already does, you know? So keep that in mind. And the other thing is, we will be excluding the obvious, which is DLC, faction DLC. So you won't find any new factions in this list because, well, that is obvious, right? So these will be 10 other things other than factions that we want to see in the future of Dawn of War Free. Let's begin. Number 10. Custom Army Insignia. Well, this one's pretty straightforward. You know where you can put insignia on the figures, on the models themselves, and on the banners pretty much, which is pretty much the army logo, the army banner, the army insignia? Well, make these custom. Give us the ability to upload our own images, just like we had in Dawn of War 1 and 2 as well, right? I think so. So, that's gonna be great. Of course, we will be seeing a lot of swastika as soon as this is available. So, I don't even know why, but it seems people like to put swastika on their armies. But we will not. I will not. I just want my Foxclaw logo, or maybe even the FLOOF, something like that. That's gonna be great. Right now I'm using this here, this is Wolf Insignia, so that's pretty cool. But, yeah, having the ability to put your own insignia, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. More customization. More customization is always good, right? Yes. Number 9. Random faction selection. Well, this one's a personal favorite or a personal request of mine, because in the previous Dawn of War 1 and 2, my main faction was, in fact, the random button. But there's no random button in this one. If you guys watching my videos probably know that I always switch up my factions, and I want to learn and be as good as with every faction available. Yeah, it's gonna be more difficult down the line if we get more factions, but I don't care! I friggin' don't care! I don't care! And, well, now you know that this is one of my requests. So basically, how it should look is have all the factions here, like we always do, but also have a random button there. And random, well, it shouldn't be 100% random. Since this game has Doctrines and Elites, it's kind of difficult to set it up. That's what you would think, but there's actually an easy solution, in my opinion, which is just give us the ability to set up our own random selection, pretty much. Basically, for each faction, one set. I don't know, something like that. And then when we select random and we get that faction, we get the set we pre-selected, pretty much. Also make it so that whenever the game begins, not even you yourself know what faction you play until the game itself begins. Because playing random faction is like a hit and miss. It's like a double-edged sword. If you do that, your opponent won't know what you play, and thus cannot really prepare to fight against it before he actually spots you on the map itself, you know? But the double-edgedness comes from you having to be able to play all the factions, and, of course, be able to make up a quick game plan as soon as the game starts, at the point where you know what faction you play as. So yeah, random faction select. My personal request here, I'm gonna put it at number 9. Number 8. A real ranked system. Well, this one's a doozy. We got a ranked system in here, as you can see. Obviously, there's you got every faction. You got 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 and stuffs. So that works, I guess. But, well, this is not enough. It kind of feels odd. The entire ranked system feels odd. Also, the matchmaking is very off. I would prefer something like in Dawn of War 2, but with a little more complex and visual ranks, like compared to Dawn of War 1. Like a mix of those two, something a little better, and please combine all the factions into one. Or are you just... I don't think they're even lazy. It's more or less like they're scared to actually see like the top 20 players being all Space Marines, because then it would have to balance a lot, you know? So it's not laziness, it's more like being scared of the ranks. But we will get more factions down the line, so they should combine it, just make one big thing. And then, of course, have it for each of the modes. And perhaps even add more modes. And there's 2 specific modes I would want to add here. But we're going to talk about those in a bit, so I'm not going to spoiler them right now. So, yeah, a better ranked system. Really would like to see that. Number 7. Squad leaders. Squad leaders? Say what? Yes, indeed. I think this is a thing the game could actually benefit from. Create some kind of squad leader system where at tier 2 or even tier 3, you could even push it all the way to tier 3, making tier 3 even a little bit better. A lot of people tend to stay in tier 2 until the game ends, at least in 1v1s, so making tier 3 kind of redundant unless you want certain tier 3 units. But if you would add squad leaders to tier 3, for example, you could also add them earlier, whatever, then this would make the game a little different. Also, squad leaders should be well, you can make them sergeants or something different. There's also if you add new factions, like for example the Imperial Guard, they could have their own, they could have like 2 squad leaders per squad, which are a sergeant and a commissar. So yeah, that would, having this mechanic in the game would actually, new factions could actually benefit from it, and the old ones as well. So of course should be sort of balanced, sometimes give more. They could give more health to the squad, of course, because you got one more unit, some more attack damage, maybe some attack variation, maybe even a small skill or whatever, something like that. And I would also say make them sort of expensive, so you can't just spam squad leaders to every single squad you got. You should think about which squads to give them, and maybe just add them to like 1 or 2 squads per faction, like the base squad, for example, Space Marines. Attack Marines should be able to get an attack squad leader, and Assaults should also be able to get one. For the other squads, they can stay as they are. Not every single squad needs one. That's what I mean, basically. But yeah, I would give some more options, and programming-wise, since the game's already programmed so the entire squad would get damaged when one unit or one model is hit, just have the squad leader be the last one to die. So making survivability of the squad even more necessary, a little more micromanagement. It's pretty good. I think it wouldn't break the game. It would be pretty cool to see that, especially if it's tier 3. So yeah, squad leaders. Please, Reddick. Number 6. Unit leveling. Well, this point actually goes hand in hand with the squad leaders we've discussed previously. So yeah, unit leveling, that would actually make the unit preservation in the game, or the mechanic, a little more interesting, make the fights a little more interesting. You would rather try to save your units instead of having them die just to get that one more kill or whatever. So make the entire gameplay a little different. You could have it in-game the entire time. You could also add them just to elites, but I think elites, I don't know, if you would add it, then elites should have it, but also regular units. Maybe even combine it with the squad leaders. That's what I said. Why I said hand in hand. So squads that actually have a squad leader would then gain the ability to level up, which would make, if you add them to tier 3, as I said earlier, then you could have tier 3, purchase a squad leader, have a stronger squad, which also levels up to get even stronger. I think that's a cool idea. It needs a little testing, you know, but it's nothing unrealistic. So could be added to the game, could be cool. And a lot of people that were always complaining about, oh, the game doesn't have level ups anymore, they would be happy as well. You wouldn't make the fans happy by adding another unit, but with the squad leaders. But yeah, being able to level up units, I think that is not a bad idea. It would make it more interesting. Of course, if you have it from the beginning onwards, or basically from the start of the game, whoever wins the first fight would have an even greater advantage. That's for sure. But yeah, even that can be balanced in some way or another. Maybe even cap it. I don't know, something like that. Think about it. Squads get stronger, so yeah, unit leveling. Number 5. Full camera control. Yep, why is this missing in the game? Please explain. Where's my button to swing around the camera and look at the models from really close up or from the side? Where's my roleplay? Where's my roleplay? One thing I always enjoyed doing in the previous games was when I just got bored or whatever, or I just wanted to just play some kind of cinematic game, I would just create some, yeah, I actually did that. I would create an AI game where 2 AI would fight each other, and I would just add myself to it, but I will only play as the elite, and then go in like in third person and just fight. That was pretty awesome. Of course, that is kind of gimmicky, and I guess not everyone does stuff like that, but there's not even an option for that anymore. It's because, where's my cinematic battles? Where's my great wars? Where's my footage, you know? This video could use that footage, just zoomed in pretty cool epic fights. But no, there's no option for that. So why? Why? I heard there's kind of an option like that for the observer mode. Not sure about that. But why is it not in-game generally? Why is it not easy accessible? Please add it. It should have been there from the get-go. So why is it not here yet? Number 4. Victory point control mode. Yes, the VPC. The VPC's victory point control. I actually think this game would benefit from that mode by a lot. I would not say remove the old modes, because obviously I said realistically speaking. But if we had this extra mode, and even perhaps add it to the ranked system, to the new ranked system, you know, add another mode there, have it randomized, so you never know which mode it is unless you find an opponent and you can see which mode it actually is for the ranked system. That'd be great. We'll mix up the tactics, mix up the entire gameplay, and you play very differently if you know that there's actually a victory point control system in play, or the old turret shield gen mode, you know, so power core mode, yeah, that's what it's called. So yeah, victory point control mode. Please come back. Please come back. We miss you. We miss you a lot. Please, Relic. Please. Number 3. An additional cover mechanic. Now this one's a doozy once again. Listen to me. I did say realistically speaking, and this is still realistically. So, we will not remove the shield bubbles or anything that is already in the game. And we will also not add some kind of convoluted cover system like we have in Dawn of War 2. No. No worries there. That's not what we need. That's not what we want, even though some people might want that. But just hear me out. Hear me out. Why not? And this is really simple. It shouldn't be difficult to program. Why not just add an additional cover system or cover mechanic, which is kind of reminiscent to Dawn of War 1 style of cover, where whenever something bigger explodes or whatever, it would leave craters. And the craters, any unit that is inside a crater would just gain a slight defense multiplier or whatever, or damage reduction. But at the same time, maybe perhaps reduce their movement speed by a tiny bit. So, yeah, that would be interesting. If you have like cover counter units, like the melee units that are currently in the game, they would actually ignore the movement reduction inside of said covers. Or craters in this case. So there would still be cover counter even for that kind of cover, because that cover actually slows all the ranged units inside, but actually makes them take less ranged damage. Only ranged damage though. So yeah, I think that would be interesting. You could also, it will also make the entire gameplay pretty much more interesting. You could have like artillery actually just spray on some areas just to create cover for your units, stuff like that. And yeah, pretty cool stuff, I think. You could also have, like, it will make a lot of more things and weapons more useful. Like, for example, the scout mines, or any type of mines, really. You could place them in spots where you want to create cover later, and whenever they would explode, suddenly there, you got a small crater, you could put a squad in. There you go, a little more damage resistance. And for the maps, you could, even the old maps, you don't really need to create new maps for it. You could also just modify the old maps to create like small craters here and there, and there you go. You have differences in fighting, and it would also make the early fights and even the later fights much more micro-intensive, because, or not even micro-intensive. It's more positioning intensive. Make the game more interesting. So yeah, an additional cover mechanic plus what we already have. I think that would be great. That's why I'm putting it at number 3. If you guys think this is a good idea, if you have other ideas, always leave comments in the comment section. Let's have a discussion about this, but I think this is a good idea. So, yeah. Number 2, buildable super units.
No way. No way.
Whoa, I know what you're thinking. But no, I'm not talking about Titans. Leave the... As I said, realistically speaking, right? We already have an engine. We don't want to change. We don't need to change that. I'm trying to be nice to the developers here, okay? So, yeah, no, not talking about the elites, okay? The elites are fine as is. You know, as fine as they can be. But I'm talking about brand new super units. For example, for Space Marines, we could easily have the Land Raider come back, right? Where's the Land Raider? He's a staple. Why is he not in the game? Add the Land Raider. For Eldar, the Avatar. Where the friggin' is the Avatar, right? So stuff like that. Even maybe have the Squiggoth have a comeback for Orcs. So and it will also make sense, like if they bring Necrons to the game. If you have a buildable monolith. That'd be great, right? It's a mechanic that works hand in hand with the new factions once again. So, yeah, have buildable super units. Of course, super units would be tier 3. They would be very expensive. Perhaps even have some kind of additional rule to purchase them. Maybe they would even cost 1 elite point or whatever. But yeah, but every faction can have them, and they will always be available. And you can only have one, I would say, right? So and strength-wise, they should be sort of as strong as a Titan. Maybe not exactly as strong. A little weaker, of course, but they should be able to hold their ground against a Titan. And this is because if you have a lead in the game, but you don't play a Titan, you can still kind of like, if your opponent always was waiting for his Titan to appear, there, your opponent has a Titan early, first elite perhaps, but you have a big lead in the game. Now that you don't lose because the opponent actually has a very good Titan and good micromanagement, now you can invest your money that you made during the gameplay because of your great game plan and economics. You can purchase the the super unit, sorry. And there you go. You have your own kind of Titan on the field, which is not as good as a Titan, of course. It doesn't have that many abilities, isn't that tanky, and doesn't recover the regular elite way, right? You need to repair it if it's a vehicle, or it needs to heal somewhere, like in case of the Avatar. Maybe even have them be repairable. I mean, the Bone Seers, they don't really repair. They swing around their bone. They go like, oh, so something like that. But yeah, that would be great, I think. It will also make the 3v3 games more interesting, because at some point you suddenly have those big units out there. And make it quite expensive, like I said. Perhaps even, and this is just an idea, let me know in the comment section if you think this is a good idea or if it breaks the game. Make them like super expensive, like 3,000 requisition, but no energy. So basically, even if you're on the losing side, if you saved up enough requisition by just playing very defensive and passive, you would be able to purchase them, or maybe make him just a lot of energy, but no requisition, something like that. There's a lot of things you can think about, but yeah, the brand new super buildable super units. Please make this a thing. And number 1, free-for-all and team free-for-all game mode. Yes, this is another personal thing, pretty much, but I've also seen a lot of people request it. Now, let me ask you something. Why is this not in the game? Why? My first thought was because of the power core mechanic. It kind of breaks it and makes it not possible. But they already have a new game mode, the Annihilation mode, which kind of does work with it. So, if I'm wrong on this one and free-for-all is already possible, then let me know, but I think it's not. So, yeah, free-for-all, for those of you who don't know what it is free player or more maps with free players or more on them, which everyone fights each other. And team free-for-all is basically at least 3 teams of 2 players which also fight each other. And usually this would not, I think this would not work with the power core mode, but if we utilize the victory point control mode I mentioned earlier, or even the annihilation mode, then this could work really well. And I mean, free-for-all, in the previous Dawn of Wars, Dawn of War 1 and 2, free-for-all was my go-to mode for not playing ranked. So I would always play 1v1 in ranked, as my random faction, of course, and then I would, whenever I wanted to just play, I would play free-for-all as my random faction, of course. So, yeah, I was really bummed out that free-for-all was not a thing in Dawn of War 3. So, yeah, I'm a sad Foxy here. Please add free-for-all. I want it back. Yes. And that was it for the list. Those were top 10 things we want for Dawn of War 3's future. And, yeah, it was pretty fun to compile this list. I had these ideas for a long time. I was thinking about making this kind of video, but then I just pushed it back. And now we got it, though. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And, of course, if you have other ideas, if there's something obvious that I missed out on, then leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know about it. Let's talk about it. I read every single comment. And, yeah. Also, if you're new to this channel, if you haven't already, become a member of the FLOOF Pack by subscribing. Also, don't forget to feed the FLOOF. Feed the FLOOF. You can feed the FLOOF by hitting the like button. Make it a FAT-ASS-FLOOF. FLOOF eats likes, becomes fat, and will explode one day. Yes. FLOOF goes poof. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Fox out.